Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Manojavam Marutatulya Vegam Jitendriyam Buddhimatam Varishtham Vatatmajam Vanarayutha Mukhyam Shri Ramadutam Shirasa Namami Pujantam Rama Rameti Madhuram Madhuraksharam Aruhya Kavita Shakham Vande Valmiki Kokilam Apadam Apahartaram Dataram Sarvasampadam Lokabhiramam Shri Ramam Bhuyo Bhuyo Namamyaham Dakshine Lakshmano Yasya Vame Cha Janakatmajaha Purato Marutir Yasya Tam Vande Raghunandanam. I'm extremely honored and grateful to Shamakund Prabhu and Vinodini for inviting me to be with all of you. I know some of you, I don't know many of you. And I'm a student of Ramayana. I'm learning. I am not someone out there. I've been learning for about 7 or 8 years now. And Ramayana is the one that actually gives me life. I'll tell you a quick story. I won't elaborate it just so that you appreciate it. About 14 years ago, I became temple president for the Chicago Hare Krishna or ISKCON temple. And if anyone knows what it means to be a temple president, especially in America, not India, it has different challenges. In America, temple president is a great title, which means he or she is a servant of all the devotees. The temple president has to cook, give class, clean the bathroom, wash pots, do everything that is required, dress the deities, etc., etc. It was quite a stressful time. And during that time, my father was diagnosed with terminal cancer. And when he was passing away, he gifted me Valmiki Ramayana, which I took but never seriously did anything about it. A couple of years before that, I met an astrologer, although I don't necessarily fancy astrologers. On the insistence of my wife, I hesitatingly consulted with the astrologer, who looked at my chart and said, "Your mind is very disturbed." Obviously, I'm very stressful at that time. And he said that the deity for the mind is the moon. And if the moon has a good influence on you, your mind will be pacified. What better moon than Sri Ramachandra? So please study Ramayana. I didn't take it seriously at all. Then my father's episode. And then 2 years later, my spiritual master decided to take all the devotees to Ayodhya. And that's when all these three or four things came into, I guess, convergence, that I became inspired to start studying the Ramayana in preparation and to fulfill my father's desire and to fulfill what the astrologer had told me. So, about a year before the yatra, I started studying the Valmiki Ramayana. My interest was that I had heard Ramayana through my childhood and the TV series, and then that there is the Lakshmana Rekha, Shabri eating fruits and giving to Rama. Was that really there? What is Valmiki's version? I wanted to first get to know the original and then layer other devotees' realizations and versions on it to enjoy it, to relish it, to bathe in it, but first to know the baseline, the original story. That's how my advent into Valmiki Ramayana started. It's been 7, 8 years, and I haven't moved beyond Valmiki Ramayana. Every time I read, I realize I don't know anything. I have so much more to know. So, Valmiki Ramayana actually, by that study, gave me new life. And I've been appreciating how life giving it has been for me, and I'm sure for others as well. But who to hear from other than Sri Hanumanji? There is a famous verse, Yatra Yatra Raghunatha Kirtanam, Tatra Tatra Kritamastakanjalim, Bhashpavari Paripurnalochanam, Marutim Namata Rakshasantakam. It's a verse where a person reciting it offers obeisances. Marutim Namata offers obeisances, their prayers, to Maruti, the son of the great Maruta, Vayudev. Because he is Rakshasantakam, no doubt. But more importantly, he is a devotee who gets into ecstasy. Wherever Sri Rama Katha is spoken, Yatra Yatra Raghunatha Kirtanam. Tatra Tatra. There, Hanuman apparently is present. And how is he present? Some people sit in a katha while they're hearing, they're scrolling of what's happening on Instagram or Facebook or distracted with something else. But Hanumanji sits Tatra Tatra Raghunatha Kirta Yatra Yatra Tatra Kritamastakanjalim. He sits like this with his hands in Anjali Kritamastaka to his head. And while he's hearing Ramakatha, Bhashpavari Paripurna Lochana. Bhashpa means tears of happiness. Vari is tears. Bhashpavari, tears of happiness, tears of joy, tears of ecstasy. Paripurna Lochana, his eyes are filled with these tears. To that Maruti, Namata, we offer our obeisances. Throughout the Ramayana, wherever we see a situation where somebody is in some distress, we'll notice that it is Hanuman who relieves them of that distress by speaking about Sri Ramachandra. Now, Hanuman is such an expert in speaking that during his very first meeting with Sri Ramachandra, when he had transformed himself into a sannyasi dress and appeared before Sri Rama and Lakshmana, he said a few things about Ramachandra and Lakshmana. This is not the time for it, so I'm not detailing the Sanskrit of it. But as soon as Hanuman spoke, the way he spoke, who are you two? You look like great conquerors, as if you have come from the heavenly realms. Although you're dressed like sadhus, I can see marks of bow and arrow that you're great warriors. etc., etc. The way he spoke, Sri Ramachandra turned to Lakshmana and said, only somebody who is an expert in Rig, Sama, and Yajurveda can speak like this. This is not an ordinary person, Lakshmana. So when you're speaking to him, be careful. This is Sri Ramachandra's first words about Sri Hanuman, that he's such an excellent speaker. So today, in the time that we have, we're going to look at a few situations where Hanuman literally brought hope, life, inspiration, safety, etc., into the lives of these persons simply by narrating Sri Ram Katha. And it's not always the same way. Depends on the circumstance, depends on the person, depends how much he wants to tell them, what aspect of Ram Katha they should hear at that time. Very expert. So we're going to look at Hanumanji speaking to Sugriva, Hanuman speaking to Swayam Prabha, Hanuman speaking to Angada, and then Ram Katha for Sampati, the brother of Jatayu, and then Katha for Sita Devi, and finally Hanuman speaking to Bharata. I don't know if we'll have the time to go through all. I'll try my best. So if I'm a little fast, I hope not to, but if I am, I'd like all of us to relish. So here we go. So the situation is, we'll talk about Sugriva. This is Hanuman speaking about Sri Ramachandra to save Sugriva's life. Sugriva became the king of Kishkindha, and rainy season had begun, Chaturmasya. So Ramachandra said, nothing happens during Chaturmasya. Sugriva, you enjoy your kingdom. I will stay on Malyavanta Parvat and I will wait for you on Mount Prasavana. And when the autumn season begins, please, from your side, start the search for Sita. And Sugriva said, oh, yeah, no problem. But all during Chaturmasya, Sugriva completely forgot what he had to do for Sri Ramachandra. Instead, was having exquisite parties with Rama, Tara, all the other queens in his harem. There was intoxication, frolicking, music, dance, all sorts of licentious sexual indulgences. He had completely forgotten himself. He was just so much in enjoyment that the rainy season, Chaturmasya, went away and Sharad Ritu or autumn season had just started. And Hanumanji looked at the sky and he saw that the sky had cleared, no rain clouds anymore. And the sky was full with thick, bright moonlight, no clouds, no lightning, no thunder. And he noticed that Sugriva, by this time, was enjoying his wealth, his kingdom, and he had completely neglected any administration. He left it all to his ministers. He was not supervising them. He didn't care whether taxes were being collected. He didn't care how his citizens were being taken care of or not. Was there enough food? Was there enough shelter for everyone? Nothing. He was just completely engrossed in his sensual pleasures. He was enjoying the company of women, his own wife Tara, etc. So every night, Sugriva would be holding hands with Tara and Rama and strolling in the great gardens without care for the kingdom. At that time, Hanuman, so here are the words. I hope you pick up certain words about Hanuman. Let's see. This is what Valmiki says. Uchchinya arajya deshen, utticha arajya sandesham, kama vrittam avasthitam. This is Sugriva. Uchchitya, completely neglected. Arajya, there was as if there was no king. Kama vrittam avasthitam. He was completely situated in just fulfilling his sensual desires. At that time, Hanuman, nishchitartha, arthatatvagyaha, kala dharma vishesha vit. These are the qualities of Hanuman. We'll go word by word. Then Hanuman, who is excellent at knowing what is one's duties and responsibilities. He knew what are the principles, artha tattvagya, and he also knew what is the right time, how to manage time, and how to manage one's religious principles. Kala dharma vishesha with. He knew the specifics of what to say at what time, how much to say, what principles to evoke. That Hanuman went to Sugriva and somehow got Sugriva's attention. Because, when a person is enjoying this kind of sensual pleasures, if someone disturbs and say, "Kaam ki baat karni hai," then the king can become very angry. He becomes irritated. "You're irritating me, get away." But Hanuman somehow, by his greatness, got Sugriva's attention. Prasadya, that means Sugriva was pleased to talk to Hanuman. Vakyair madhurair hetumadbhir manoramaihi. So Hanuman spoke with words that were madhura, very sweetly. Hetumadbhi, with full of meaning. Manoramai, that word pleasing to Sugriva's heart. Vakya vid, Hanuman is called Vakya vid because he knows exactly what words, phrases, language to use. Vakya tattvagya, he knows the expertise of language and the expertise of expressions. Hari Isham, he spoke to Sugriva, Marutatmaja, the son of Vayu. And Hanuman's words were the benefit of Sugriva. Hitam. Tattvam cha pathyam cha. Tattvam means beneficial. Pathyam. Pathyam means beneficial. Tathyam means pragmatic. Very practical advice. Sama dharma artha nitivat. So his words had Sama, that were pacifying, dharma, full of weighty religious import or meaning, nitimat, full of proper morality. Pranamya priti samyuktam. Pranamya, affection. Priti, friendliness. So he was looking after Sugriva's pleasure, Sugriva's practicality, and with a lot of love and affection. Vishwasha krita nishchayan. He won Sugriva's confidence. Hari Ishwaram upagamya. He approached the king of the monkeys. Hanuman vakyam abravit. And this is what Hanuman spoke. Because in speaking, he has to be very, very expert. Now, to Sugriva, Hanuman did not speak Ram Katha directly. Because Sugriva is a king, Ramachandra is a king. Sugriva always considered himself an equal to Ramachandra. They were friends. That's why Sugriva, when he met Ramachandra the first time, he shook hands. So to tell Sugriva the greatness of Ramachandra like story, Sugriva may not accept it so easily. So Hanuman spoke Ramayana very indirectly, more with as if a minister is giving advice or counsel to Sugriva. But these are all qualities of Ramachandra. So Hanuman said to Sugriva that when you got something by the favor of your friend, then it is your duty to return that favor. This is called gratitude, Sugriva. You made friendship with Ramachandra and he fulfilled his side of the deal. You have to take care of your friend. Otherwise, in this world, it's easy to make enemies, not easy to make friends. And if you make a friend, it's even more difficult to maintain that friendship, Sugriva. So please, then you should have empathy for someone who is in distress similar to yours. You had lost your wife, you lost your kingdom. You made friendship with Ramachandra, who lost his wife and lost his kingdom. You got it back. So you know what it feels like to not have these. So that friend of yours, Ramachandra, is waiting for you. Plus, you're a king. What is your sense of duty? Once you give your word, you have to fulfill your word. A promise is a promise. What's that Hindi saying? Jaan jaye, par vachan na jaye. So these are indirects because these are all Ramachandra's qualities. In the beginning of Ramayana, Valmiki asks Narada Muni, Onasvin sampatang loke gunavan kasya viryavan. Dharmagyasya, in this case he talked about dharma. Kritagyasya, one who is grateful. Satyavakya, one who speaks the truth, which means once they speak, that's what they follow. And then Sarvabhuta Hiterata, one who does things for the benefit of pleasure of all other beings, etc. So when Sugriva heard this, his eyes that were completely rolling in intoxication told Hanuman, invite all the monkeys from all over the planet to come. Tell them to assemble here as soon as possible. But the mistake he made is he didn't convey that to Sri Ramachandra. That's why Lakshmana came angrily. But Hanuman's words actually saved Sugriva's life. If Sugriva had not done this, after Hanuman spoke to him, Lakshmana would have killed Sugriva. So how Ramayana saved or Rama Katha saved Sugriva, thanks to Sri Hanumanji. Fast forward, all the monkeys went to the northern side, eastern side, western side, and some of them went to the southern side, led by Angada. It was Angada, Jambavan, Sushena, Dvainda, Vivida, Mainda, Hanumanji, etc., Neela. And as they are searching through, 1 month that Sugriva had given them, the time had passed. And Sugriva said, if you don't come back in 1 month, I will kill you. I will kill all of you if you don't come back. These monkeys who had come to the southern side, that deadline was over. And to make things worse, they were lost. They were hungry. They were tired. They were completely exhausted. So they were thinking either we die because of hunger or we go back to Kishkinda and Sugriva is going to kill us. What to do? At that time, they find a great cavity in the earth. It's called the Rikshabila. And it's very dark. So they go in and suddenly they find that there's a whole another world inside full of golden trees, jewels, pearls, diamonds, rubies, emeralds, birds chirping, trees full of fruits and flowers. And wow, they've never seen anything like that. And it was all being taken care of by a great saintly lady called Swayam Prabha. Now, this lady was a friend of the daughter of Maya Danava. And when Indra had killed Maya, his daughter Hema, for whom this entire place Maya had made, she left it in the care of Swayam Prabha and went away. Now, Swayam Prabha is an ascetic, a sannyasini type. She didn't care, but she was taking care of it. So she's all into meditation. Somewhere, that austerity needs to get fulfilled. So Hanuman and the Vanaras came to meet her. And she saw that they were very hungry and tired, so she served them. Now, the gift of serving the great servants of the Lord, dasa, dasa anudasaha, the reward one gets is katha. In Bhagavatam, we hear, Shushusho Shraddhanasya Vasudeva Katharichi Syat Mahatsevaya Vipra Punyatirtha Nishevanat. If one wants to have taste for Katha, then one should render humble service to the Vaishnavas. Swayam Prabha served them. And in return, she became eager to hear. So she says to the Vanaras, Vanaraha Yadi Vah Khedaha Pranashtha Phalabhakshanat Yadi Chaitanmaya Shravyam Shrotum Ichchami Kathayatam. O Vanaras, Yadi Vaha Khedaha Pranashtaha Phalabhakshanat. If your tiresomeness or fatigue has been relieved by eating the fruits that I've offered you, Yadi cha etan maya shravyan, and if I am eligible to hear, shrotum ichchami, I am very desirous to hear. Kathayatam, please speak to me. When Hanuman heard, please speak, interestingly, he did not say, I am Hanuman, I am part of the Vanaras, Sugriva is our king. No. You know where he started? He said, Raja Sarvasya Lokasya Mahendra Varunopamaha Ramo Dasharathis Shriman Pravishto Dandagavanam. For Swayam Prabha, the words she had to hear was about Sri Ramachandra. Raja Sarvasya Lokasya Mahendra Varunopamaha. He is equal to Mahendra, Indra and Varuna. Ramo Dasharatihi Shriman, the great, well-qualified Sri Ramachandra, Pravishta Dandakavanam, entered Dandaka. That's where he started the story for Swayam Prabha. And he narrated how with Lakshmana and Sita Devi, they came in, Ramachandra came in, how they resided with the sages, how Sita was abducted by Ravana. Ramachandra was searching for Sita Devi. He came to Kishkinda, made friends with Sugriva, killed Vali, made Sugriva the king, and Sugriva wants to return the favor. And that's how we are in the search party in the southern direction, and we have come here. Swayam Prabha becomes so happy. And she says to them, please tell me, how can I return a favor to you that you have given me? Although she has done them a favor by feeding them. But more than feeding them fruit, that she heard Ram Katha from Hanuman, she feels so indebted that she says, what can I do for you? And the Vanara says, no, just help us get out of this so we can go in search of Sita Devi. And she brings them to Mount Mahendra, from where Hanuman would have been ready to jump. Swayam Prabha, who was an ascetic, a tapaswini, she felt uplifted and purified more than her tapasya by the Ram Katha she heard from Hanumanji. Now, all the Vanaras are at Mount Mahendra and they see this massive ocean. They have no idea how far Lanka is. If, first of all, that they should go to Lanka, they don't even know. They've come to the end of land. And Angada loses all confidence. Another monkey with him, whose name is Tara, not Tara, Tara, he says, let's just break away from Sugriva and run away because Sugriva is going to kill you. Then Angada starts doubting. He says, yeah, my uncle Sugriva always wanted to be king. He actually wanted to kill me also, but somehow I got saved, etc. He just goes into this splinter spin-off idea and loses his self-confidence. So Hanuman has to motivate Angada. Now, the way Hanuman motivates Angada is, instead of speaking about Lord Ramachandra, he speaks about Lakshmana. Because Angada saw Lakshmana's fury when he came to meet Sugriva. Now, Angada is a Kshatriya prince. He needs like a Kshatriya shake-up. So he needs to hear Ram Katha about Lakshmana, about Ramanuja, about Ramachandra's younger brother. He says, you saw Maya Danava's that cave or that cavity, crater. That crater that Maya had built, Indra with a thunderbolt crashed and made a big dent. But Lakshmana with one arrow can completely evaporate that entire area. So don't think Lakshmana is any ordinary person. And Angada, if you are thinking of defecting from Sugriva, then remember, with one arrow, you don't even need Ramachandra's arrow. Lakshmana's one arrow will finish off. I don't think it's a good idea to defect. So hearing this kind of katha put more strength in Angada's heart. In Bhagavad Gita, we hear the phrase, Tyaktva hridaya daurbalyam uttishtha. Krishna says to Arjuna, give up that petty weakness of heart and stand up and fight. For the heart to become strong, Hanuman had to inspire, motivate Angada by reminding him of Lakshmana's strength. Sri Lakshmana, he says, only Lakshmana, if he's like that, you don't even have to worry about Ramachandra. Lakshmana can take care of everyone. So Angada becomes very inspired. And he has a new vigor in him, new life. And he now starts talking out of the blue about Jatayu. And he says how Jatayu, this bird, this vulture, gave up his life fighting with Ravana to protect Sita. And this Jatayu was such a mighty, mighty bird. And Ramachandra embraced that bloody body of Jatayu. It was full of blood. His limbs were broken. His wings were cut off. He was writhing in pain. And Ramachandra completely embraced. Ramachandra was soaked in Jatayu's blood. But remember, now that Angada is speaking Ram Katha about Jatayu, out of the blue, another mighty bird at the size of Jatayu showed up. He said, I'm hearing Jatayu's name. That's my brother. Speak about him. How do you know about him? And so Angada speaks Ram Katha to Sampati. Sampati becomes very happy and narrates his own story that he is actually Jatayu's older brother. And they one day, when they were young and restless, they had a little brotherly competition of who can fly higher. And as they were flying, they went above the Earth's atmosphere, even outside it, towards the sun. And the sun was very scorching. And suddenly Sampati recognized that my younger brother Jatayu, he will get scorched by the sun's rays. And so Sampati flew over Jatayu to protect his younger brother. And in turn, Sampati's wings got burnt and he fell to the ground. And for many, many, many years, He was just walking here and there. So he went in search of sage Matanga because they were friends. And Matanga was very compassionate to him. So Matanga Rishi gave him a blessing. Generally, birds have to fly to get their food. I bless you, that food will come to you. Keep your life. Don't give it up. Because you have a great service to do. When the Vanaras will come, please tell them where Sita Devi will be. And the gift I give you is only when you help the Vanaras, new wings will come for you. Sampati, who's himself 60,000 years or more older, suddenly got new wings. And in a few moments, had this mighty large wingspan. And he started flapping his wings and soared up in the sky and told them, in Lanka, Sita is there. That is where you will have to go. And he flew away. So sometimes we may think that either we are aging or we don't have physical strength or the mental strength for bhakti. By Ram Katha, we get a new life. We get new wings to fly, to discover new heights, for a new adventure. It's never too late to hear Katha and never too late to render service. Now, service does not necessarily mean physically painful. Service can be of any kind, but service is important. Some physical service, mentally to serve with one's words, or to serve with one's wealth. Etavat janma saphalyam praninam iha dehinam iha dehishu pranera ther vacha shreya acharanam sada. Krishna tells Balaram, these trees are like great sages who are meant for serving other living beings by praner, by giving their life, arther, by giving their wealth, dhya, by their intelligence, and vacha, by their words. If we can't do anything, at least speak encouraging words of service when someone else is serving. Not that that's the only thing we do. So Angada, who was inspired by Hanuman, then inspired Sampati. Finally, actually, not finally, Sita Devi. I'm going to edit that Sita Devi's part because that is too much nectar and I don't want to rush it. But anyway, Hanuman, who was hiding on the Simshupa tree, saw Sita Devi. Sita Devi for 10 months was separated from Ramachandra. She had not eaten, she had not slept, she had not taken a bath. Her eyes had become red from crying in separation from Ramachandra. And she finally was threatened by Ravana that if you don't decide in 2 months' time, my fellows will cook you for my breakfast. Sita Devi took her braided hair and decided to tie it round the branch of a tree and then tie it round her neck and give up her life, because living another moment without Ramachandra had no meaning. Then Trijata intervenes and tells her she got a dream that Ramachandra will come. So Sita Devi is hearing Trijata. At this time, Hanuman is very quickly thinking, if I don't intervene right now, Sita Devi will give up her life. If Sita Devi gives up her life, Ramachandra will give up his life. If Ramachandra gives up his life, Lakshmana will give up, then Bharata, Ayodhya, everyone will die. Sugriva will die. He says, I should speak to her. But he has to speak about Ramachandra. But interestingly, he doesn't speak about Sri Ramachandra. Like he spoke to Swayamprabha about Sri Ramachandra, interestingly, here he says, Raja Dasaratho Namaha Rathakunjara Vajiman Punyashilo Mahakirtir Ikshvakunam Mahayashaha. He speaks about Dasarat Maharaj. And then he says he has a son, Ramachandra. Because When Ramachandra was asked to go to the forest, Ramachandra put on ascetic garments of tree bark and deer skin. Sita Devi did not know how to wear it. And when she was trying to put it on, she didn't know, so she burst out crying. And that's when Dasharatha intervened and yelled at Kaikeyi and said, no, for Sita Devi, she should not wear these clothes. And he ordered that for 14 years, Sita Devi should go with clothes and jewelry that she will wear as a queen for 14 years. And these queens never repeated their dress. So you can imagine how much luggage Lakshmana was carrying from one place to another for 14 years. And Sita Devi, because she had married Ramachandra, the son of Dasharath Maharaj, for her to hear about Dasharatha was very important. So that's how Hanuman starts. Raja Dasharatho Namaha. There was a great king by the name Dasharatha who had chariots, elephants, and horses. Punyashila had a great character. Mahakirti, very, very famous. And Ikshvakunam Mahayashaha. And he was among the very, very great lineage of Ikshvaku. And Sita Devi took her braid off the branch and paid attention to Hanuman. And from there, she became thrilled to hear about Sri Ramachandra. Finally, after the war is over, Sri Ramachandra returns on Pushpaka Vimana to Bharadwaja Ashram. That's where they land for the night. Ramachandra says to Hanumanji, tomorrow morning is when the 14th year is going to end. Bharata is, I'm sure, very anxious. Hanuman, you please go to Guha. Tell him that I have returned. Guha is a wonderful friend and devotee. After that, you go to Bharata and narrate to Bharata that I am returning. Check how Bharata responds to you. If you see the slightest doubt, we'll return away from here. So when Hanuman comes to Nandigrama, he sees Bharata exactly looking like Ramachandra, wearing tree bark and deer skin, hair matted up, emaciated, not eaten anything, and living like an ascetic. Vasantam dandakaranye yam tvam chira jatadharam anushochashi kakustham satvam kushalam abravit. First thing Hanuman said to Bharata is, Ramachandra, for whom you are residing in this forest, wearing the same dress like Ramachandra, he said he wants to find out about your welfare. Kushalam tvam kakustham anushochasi. He is worried about your welfare. For Bharata to hear that Ramachandra is concerned about his welfare, when Bharata should be concerned about Ramachandra who went to the forest, Bharata, just hearing this, goes into a rapture of ecstasy. So Hanuman tells Bharata, Priyam akhyamite deva shokam tyakshasi darunam asmin muhurte bhrata tvam ramena sahasangataha. I'm telling you great news. Priyam akhyati. Give up this anguish. Tyakshasi darunam shokam. Just give up this dreadful anguish that you're in. Asmin muhurte, in a very, very short while, Bhrata tvam ramena sahasangata. You will now meet your great brother. When Bharata heard this, his eyes became wide, and Hanuman said, he has killed Ravana, he got Sita back, and Rama is returning with his mighty friends, with all of his purposes accomplished. Lakshmana is also coming. Lakshmana was very, very special, Mahateja. And along with them is Sita, Yashaswini. And Sri Ramachandra and Sita are arriving just like Indra and his wife Shachi Devi would come. So, Eva Mukto Hanumata Bharataha Kaikeyi Suta. That is the word Valmiki uses, Kaikeyi Sutaha. Of all the words, Bharata Kaikeyi Suta. He did not say Bharata Ramanujaha. Kaikeyi Sutta is very, very important because it is because of Kaikeyi's request or order that Ramachandra went to the forest. So he says, Valmiki says, when the son of Kaikeyi heard this news, Papata Sahasa Hrashto Harsha Moham Upagataha. Papata Sahasa, immediately he fell to the ground out of joy, and Harshan Moham Upagata. Out of this joy, he fainted. So you see, just Rama Katha by Hanuman sent Bharata into ecstasy and brought life into his otherwise lifeless body. And how long? Muhurtam, for a long time. Tato muhurtad yutat pratyashascha raghavam hanumatam hanumata hanumatam uvachoedam bharatah priyavadinam. Then Bharata spoke all these beautiful, sweet words to Hanuman after he regained his consciousness. He embraced Hanuman and bathed Hanuman with his tears. And these tears were not born out of anguish, they were born out of joy. Valmiki says, Ashoka Jaihi, born out of not Shoka. Ashoka means born out of joy. Pritimayihi, very, very joyful. Kapim Alangya Sambhramat, he embraced Hanumanji, Sambhramat, with great joy and in intensity. Shishechaha Bharataha Shriman, he bathed, he did Abhishek for Hanuman with his tears. Shriman Vipulair Ashrubhi Binduhu, with beads or beads of tears of joy, he did Abhishek or he bathed Hanuman. So you can see, whenever, wherever somebody needs inspiration, enthusiasm, joy, their morose, hearing Ramayana from Hanuman or hearing Ramayana from a great servant of Lord Ramachandra brings one back to life. I'm going to pause abruptly and see if there are any questions or comments. Any thoughts? Because I want to make sure there is enough time for you to express any reflections, any objections. I know it's early in the morning. I'm very grateful that you're starting your day early in the morning, hearing me speak. Anything? Anybody?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. We are relishing the nectar.
I don't know people, so please tell me your name.
I'm Shweta, Prabhuji.
Shweta, okay. But thank you. Ram Katha is such. Anybody who hears it will be inspired. But to speak of devotees like all of you. Shamakund Prabhu, you want to add something? Or modify something?
No, I was just very happy to hear these each of these instances in and of itself we had heard, but how they were linked is something just very wonderful for me to hear. And how Hanumanji takes people at various levels, be it a hedonist at that point in time, say Sugriva, or be it a yogi, who is even a person at yogi needs the intervention of a devotee to progress, like Swayam Prabha. Everybody needs intervention of a devotee to progress. And Ram Katha, or the message of the Supreme Lord in general, helps everybody. Uh, More so, I've been feeling that we often think that we can practice devotional service on our own, but it's been my strong conviction recently that we have to hear Katha from the lips of other devotees, and only then the heart gets stirred. So it became even more so obvious when I heard from you, Prabhu. That very same Katha, which I had heard so many times, or which I've read so many times, but when I'm hearing it from somebody's mouth, it makes a much greater impact. That's all I had.
Yeah, Hanuman spoke to Yogi, Bhogi, and Rogi. Bhogi is Sugriva, Rogi is Angada, and Yogi is Swayamprabha, and brought them back to life. Thank you, Shamkun. And anyone else?
Or maybe I'll just volunteer for one or asking one devotee. Karunika Sita Mataji, are you here? You're able to hear me?
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Would you have anything to add, either on this topic or on your meditations on Lord Ramachandra?
I'm
No,
sorry,
Prabhu.
who's speaking?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. This is Karunika Sita Devidasi from Bangalore.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Thank you for
Sorry.
the wonderful lecture, Prabhu, in the morning. We are really relishing it, Prabhu. I'm always eagerly waiting for this class, Prabhu.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
హరే కృష్ణ ప్రభు దండవత్ ప్రణా నా పేరు విజయలక్ష్మి రామవల్లభ మాతాను హరే కృష్ణ ప్రభు
వినిపిస్తోంది.
చాలా సంతోషం ప్రభు మీ రామాయణ క్లాస్ వినడం నాకు ఇవాళ అదృష్టం ఈ రోజు చాలా పావనమైంది
అదృష్టం భాగ్యం నాది.
మాది కూడా ప్రభు ఈ సత్సంగంలో రామాయణం వినడం మాకు చాలా అదృష్టం ఈ రోజు చాలా దివ్యమైనది హరే కృష్ణ ప్రభు దండవత్
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, this is Ashok. But
Yes.
actually, this much detailed, I didn't hear this Rama Katha actually before Sri Ramnavami. So very grateful to you, Prabhu.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, the beauty is in the details. And there is a verse, no, Ekaikam aksharam pumsam mahapatakanasham pravishta eke. So there is a falastuti where Valmiki says that, or Lord Brahma blesses him that every sentence, every phrase, every word, every aksharam is proper, intentional, and complete. Yeah, thank you though. All right, I see someone's hand up, Rajeshwari Pran.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Haribol, nice to hear your voice.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. It's always a nectar to hear your Rama Katha from you. I was just relating it almost with Bhagavatam, how it's a Prati Aksharam, you have meaning even in Bhagavatam. Vyasadev says, and even the first as that Amala Purana verse where it says Shukamukha Drava Samyutam. It's like when it comes from the devotee, it becomes more sweeter. So whether it is from Hanuman teaching us the same Ramakatha to different people in the Ramayana, are you teaching us? It is nectar to hear how Hanuman is teaching them. So it is so nice, and I feel it's a purification. Many lessons to learn. Please bless us that we will be in line with your teachings.
I am a young student, Mataji, but thank you for your encouraging words. Someday, some lifetime, hopefully. But thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes. And thank you for making that connection about Shukamukha Amrita Davya Samvedam. That's wonderful. Dhira Lalita Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Can you hear me? Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. You
Could
told
you speak up? I'm not able to hear you.
Okay. How about now, Prabhu?
Oh, fantastic.
Prabhu, one question here that we see that Hanumanji is actually speaking to a different audience. And
Yeah.
and then he's uplifting them by narrating them with the Rama Katha.
Voice is again going down, dear Prabhu. Can you be a little closer to the mic itself?
Okay. I'm very close to the mic now. Now it should be fine, Prabhu. Yeah. So, Prabhu, the question comes that when we try to preach to different audiences, like to the family members, or let's say to people in the office and all. So we tried various ways that somehow let me try to preach them about Lord Ramachandra, about Krishna, about message in Bhagavad Gita, but they are not very much receptive, or they won't even be would like in the mood to hear. So how do we encourage people that they should get that mood to hear about these spiritual messages? So that's where sometimes like I struggle, especially in the office, and sometimes to the family members, and sometimes to few of my neighbors. So like, how do we address that part? Thank you.
Srila Prabhupada teaches us that for the message to take root in the heart, both the speaker and the receiver need to be potent. He gives the example of a potent man and a fertile woman. Both are required for conception of a child. Or the seed must be potent and the ground must be fertile for the seed to germinate. So the fertility on the reception side has to begin with shushushaya, submission. There has to be a little bit of submission. And submission can be brought only by service. So when the receivers are engaging in some sort of service, then their receptivity increases. Or when you give prasadam, the moment they place their hand like this, then they are being submissive to prasadam, which is the grace of the Lord. Their ability to receive increases. So one best way is to just share the prasadam of the Lord without too much philosophy. People's hearts don't change from philosophy so easily. People's hearts change from experience of affection, kindness, compassion, empathy. So look at Sugriva. Okay, the word Shamakund Prabhu used was hedonist, right? Complete sense enjoyment. And look at the list of names or the adjectives for Hanuman that Valmiki has used here. Nishchitartha, Tatvagyaha, Kaladharma Visheshavit, Vakyer Madhurair Hetumadbhir Manoramayhi, Vakyavid Vakya, Vakyavid Vakya Tatvagyaha, Hitam Tattva Pathyam Sama Dharma Artha Nitimat Pranaya Priti Samyuktam. Vishwasa Kritanishchayam. So Pranaya Priti Samyuktam, with a great affection and pleasingly. So there's work for us and there's work for them to do. Then the messages have some hope of touching, connecting. Is that okay? Dhira Lalita Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu, perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Anyone else? We're 9:30. Shyamkund Prabhu, we're out of time, right? It's been an hour.
Yes, yes. Prabhu.
Any burning questions, final? Or we'll say, we'll turn it over to Shyamkund Prabhu to say the final words. All right, Shyamkund Prabhu, take it away.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, can we have any session on Ramanavami Day? Or I mean, is it possible for you?
I'm not the coordinator. I'm just a servant. My master is right there. He decides.
Prabhu, yes, Prabhu. If your times permits, we will be very happy to hear on Ramnavami Day too, Prabhu.
Ramanavami Day, that is 30th of
Yes.
March.
Yes.
So you want to do it on the morning of the 30th or the morning of the 31st? My Ramanavami evening or your Ramanavami morning?
Our Ramnavami morning, which is 30th IST, which will be 29th night for you.
All right, let's you and I talk separately and we can see if something's possible. Okay, you have any closing comments, Shyamkund Prabhu?
Actually, Karnika Sita Mataji.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Your voice is grainy.
Okay, is it any better now, Prabhu?
Yeah, a little better, but it's grainy.
Grainy, okay. From our side, I think thank you very much. This is the first lecture in which we, as a group of all the different Bhakti Vrikshas, we have come together to hear on a Sunday.
Oh, wow.
And we used to have the Bhakti Vriksha sessions on Sundays, but now we all have joined together, different Bhakti Vrikshas, etc., together and across different groups across India, the online group, the offline groups, etc. We hope that this is just the beginning where we can hear more from you, Prabhu. And every month, once a month, at least max 2 months, we'll have these kind of sessions where we have guest speakers. And we hope we can have you for many more months in the future months.
Sri Ramachandra, Lakshmana, Sita Devi, and Hanuman permitting. Meanwhile, if you like, can I do a little marketing here? For those of you who'd like to hear anything about Sri Ramachandra or Ramayana, please go to my YouTube channel, Nityananda Prandas. Join and subscribe. But I've been doing Rama Raksha Stotra a while. I paused, but I have to continue now. And we've been doing Sundara Kanda there. So. All right. Thank you very, very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai.
And the links for the playlists for all the different series which Prabhu has spoke about now in the groups. Thank you very much, Prabhu. All
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to you.